Hello everyone, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. My name is Jamie. Today's video I wanted to chat about a couple of very interactive, I would say they're interactive, but also really engaging for a child who's struggling to learn how to spell, read, and like memorize math facts. So if you are new, let me elaborate. I have a child with autism who's 15 years old, and he is not really interested in doing a lot of the academic stuff. So I have to really look for and try and find things that are engaging, that will capture his interest for the very short time that he's interested in doing it. And then I have another daughter who she doesn't have any issues with remembering things. Her mind is a steel trap. She taught herself how to read before she was in kindergarten. Not me, all her. And then my third child, my Ceana, was very young in grade 1 and grade 2. She really struggled, and we learned that she needed something called eye therapy. I will leave a link down below to that video. But after a year and a half of doing eye exercises, she was able to read. But some of those cognitive memories and stuff, that I think those pathways get built at a certain point in their young development, they're catching up, but they're still very sluggish. And so she really struggled with spelling. She still struggles with spelling. She still struggles with remembering math facts. And so it's a really it's been a challenge to find things that work for her and to keep her kind of on track. And I'm so thankful for homeschooling, for the ability to take that time for her. I love that about homeschooling. And she's not in an environment where she's comparing herself to her peers. So I did want to share this with you. These things came to me from another homeschool mama who happens to be a teacher as well. And we were just having a conversation about, because my youngest also had adenoid and tonsil surgery when she was in grade 1, I think, or just out of kindergarten. And so like so many of the things, we're just struggling with this point. And so at one point I was like, I'm just dropping things all over the place here. At one point, to just help us keep moving, I had her using this where I gave her the answers essentially. And so she was able to do like the top level math, or like multiplication questions, 3 digits by 3 digits or 4 digits by 4 digits. But she needed this because she couldn't retain these facts. And so I don't actually have a physical something to show you because it's online, but it's something called Times Tails, and I will leave a link down below to that as well. But if you have a child who can study and study and study and study the math facts and do, like, I tried everything. We did wrap-ups, we did flashcards, we did musical multiplication from The Good and the Beautiful. Like, we've done everything to help those facts, and nothing was sticking. And the thing that worked was Times Tails. So they have a whole bunch of information on the website that I will leave linked below. It was a fairly inexpensive thing, I thought, to have, but there's a video representations and some worksheets that they can do, and literally that was the thing that worked for her, where they've kind of personified the numbers and then tell little stories. And it's amazing. I don't know how it works compared to everything else that we tried. I cannot articulate what worked, but it did. And those stories seemed to stick in her brain. And she was asking to be quizzed on the way to dance. She was asking to be quizzed about math facts. So I cannot rave about it enough because that was a huge thing. So with that success, I went to this mom again and said, is there anything like that for spelling? Because I have a couple of videos, I think 2 videos where, again, I've tried all about spelling. It's all about spelling. It's from Deme. But I think it's called All About Spelling. And then we also did another spelling thing. I've got it on my channel if you're interested. And again, she was really good about studying for the tests and like just having that ready. But then as soon as the test was done, it was gone, and she's writing her worksheets and doing all of that. The spelling went back to what the crazy spelling that she is so good at. But it wasn't, and she gets frustrated by, because like even IEW, she writes because 6 times a week and she's still not getting it. So this, I have stuff to show you. So this friend of mine said, have you ever heard of secret stories? And I said, no, but it's amazing. And again, I think it's that story component, that personification almost of what they are. So what they do for this, and I will leave this link down below as well, but what they do is they talk about the stories of what would I say? The stories of the letters and how they interact to make up words. So the very first pages are about the superhero vowels. And the superhero values are superheroes when they say their name, and when they're not, they are in their disguise, right? So I'm just going to see if I can find the letter, or the letter. These stories talk about, oh, that's Mommy. They have a name for everything, which is kind of fun. But E in its superhero phase looks like that. And when she's in disguise, she's disguised as a little old lady, and she says, eh, eh, eh. And I love it so much, because again, it's this idea of taking what's a complicated thing and making it kid friendly. And this I will be doing with Darian as well. Later on, it talks about these letters and how each one can say that and why. So they'll say, these prim and proper little girls with their perfectly pretty curly hair and are deathly afraid of mice. Should they ever spot one in their house, they'll jump up on high on their tippy toes and scream, ew! And that's how the sound they make. And so then they add a few examples like few, chew, neutral, and Europe, and explain those. And so it's taking the confusion of what would be English. And I mean, it's one of those things that with the English language, we always kind of just go, you have to remember. If it's spelled a certain way, you just have to kind of remember. And there's some children that are really, really good at that. And then there's others who don't. And I have found it amazing. So I wanted to point out at the back of the book, it comes with little cards. So if you have, like, let me see if I can reach it. If you have something like this where your child can sit and read, or do their work in, you can actually put them in these little pockets, and so then they have it right available to them. And they have words that you might be working on that go into, I'm just trying to see if I can find it for you, word jail. And word jail is things that you're really working on that you want to highlight. Yeah, they have so many different things like that available. They also, so those little cards are for that, but they also have like really big ones for a classroom. If you had like a really big classroom, you would be able to put up on your walls. So both of these type curriculum, if you will, there's not tons of paperwork in this. It's just teaching them the ideas behind them. Q never goes anywhere without his best buddy, you. And together they make the sound qua. And that's the sound they make. Queen, quiet, quarter. So again, it's just like it's giving them something that like is something that works for their brains. And I think that for my Ceana, that has turned out to be entirely true. Everything else, like I thought the musical multiplication would work because she's so musical and she loves to sing. Well, she would remember the tune but not the math fact that went with it. So then you'd end up with like math facts that weren't correct. She needed that personification of the number, being 8 as a snowman and 9, I can't remember what 9 is. I think it's a tree house or something, and then telling a little story about those two being together that really seemed to solidify in her mind that math fact. And so yeah, I'm super, super excited about this, and I wanted to share it. If you have a child who has special needs, if you have a child who's in the younger years, if you're homeschooling and you're just like teaching them phonics and sounds, like Ceana knows all of her sounds, but trying to get her to write with the proper spelling, it hasn't happened because you need to have some of those just, they go together. Q or ER goes together. If you have an sound, it, for whatever reason, she knows the R sound, and so she just writes R. So there's so many things like that, that when you have a picture formed in your mind, if you are a story person, these are the things that are going to help both in math and reading and writing in particular. So I think I wanted to share it because I think it's so beneficial for a struggling student, but also for a special needs student, because their brains just kind of put those things together, those stories together. And if you have them readily available, they're just like that, right? And so, yeah, I will leave both of these linked down below. I can't rave about the success that I've had thus far. We're just getting into secret stories, so I can't speak fully to that one, but definitely Times Tales, 100%. It was the one thing that worked over all of the other things that we tried, and we tried everything. So I hope that this has been a helpful video for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Have a wonderful week homeschooling. Talk to you later.